Riley that obviously she's a Nigerian, she's the manager of diversity, equity and inclusion, and Jonita McPhee, that's pronounced. She's a registered nurse. They're going to be talking to us about what they do, and I'm open to ask questions. Someone has been saying she's here to protest and they do not take our blood. I don't know if it's true, but I'm hoping that they'll be able to help with some clarifications today. Without much further ado, I want you to help me welcome, whether you're online or offline, to welcome this amazing team. I haven't gotten a name just yet, but I'm sure that we will get the name eventually. You know, the big boss is the one that doesn't start off first. So we get the names out very soon. But ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the team from Canada Blood Services as they speak to us.
My name is. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. My name is Osayi Ogiera, and I'm manager for diversity and inclusion.
So I'm going to start, and I'm just going to give a little bit of history of what is Canadian Blood Services. So we are a national, independent, non-profit, charitable organization, and we were founded in 1998. Our mission at Canadian Blood Services operates Canada's blood supply in a manner that gains the trust, commitment, and confidence of all Canadians when providing a safe, secure, cost-effective, affordable, and accessible supply of quality blood products, and their alternatives. And our brand is who we are. It's a process that involves both the head and the heart, a way to improve efficiencies while preserving the care and compassion that we all share. And throughout this presentation, I am going to talk about the head, which is basically the science behind Canadian Blood Services, and Osayi is going to talk about the heart, the compassion behind what we do, and really why we do what we do. So what we do matters, and at Canadian Blood Services we have an umbrella, and under our umbrella we have Blood for Life, which we're going to speak about plasma for life, stem cells for life, and organs and tissues. So all four fall under our umbrella, and each and every one of them is just as much as important. So blood is, we test and collect blood daily here at Canadian Blood Services, as well as plasma. So for blood, we have blood that falls under platelets and blood, and then plasma is another one that we collect, and it's very important. You're going to see more designated plasma sites that are starting up over Canada, and basically what we want to do is be able to have self-sufficient in Canada to provide our own. Stem cells is also very important. We're going to touch on that a little bit further, and sickle cell and why it's important that we need more diversity in our stem program. And then organs and tissues is also another. So let's talk some facts about blood. What is blood? So blood is a liquid tissue pumped through the body by the heart through thousands of milliliters of blood vessels. It delivers oxygen, minerals, hormones, nutrients, and other important material to the organs and helps clear the body of waste. And the picture of the person sitting in the chair is myself, and I am a very proud blood donor. Every time I donate and I leave feeling very proud that I know I'm saved life. And one thing that we do want to mention is that there is no substitute for human blood. So some facts about blood. Some facts about whole blood. So our blood is made up of red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. And you will hear us talk a lot today about whole blood, which is our red blood cells, platelets, and plasma, and why they are important and what we use them for. So red blood cells have two main functions. One is to pick up oxygen from the blood and deliver it to the tissues. Second is to pick up carbon dioxide from the tissues and unload it into the blood. So white blood cells is your immune system. And that ties into when we talk about stem cells and bone marrow. So that goes hand in hand along with your platelets. So platelets is to react to bleeding from blood vessels, injuries, by pulsing, thereby initiating a blood flow. And plasma The main role of plasma is to take nutrients, hormones, and proteins to parts of the body that need it. Cells also put their waste products into the plasma. So all types of our blood cells are produced by our bone marrow. So remember that when we talk about bone marrow, that's going to be important when we talk again about stem cells. In our bone marrow is our body's factory for producing blood cells. So uses for blood, platelets, and plasma. So that's the science behind it. Now let's talk about what we use it for. So red blood cells are used in emergencies, during surgeries, and to help people having cancer treatment. And one thing with blood is that it does have a shelf life, so it expires. It has a 42-day shelf life. White blood cells, as I mentioned, is your immune system, so it fights infection. Platelets are used to treat people with bleeding disorders, cancer patients. And one thing with platelets is their shelf life is only 5 days. So that's why it's important that we're constantly collecting platelets. And plasma is used to treat people undergoing extensive surgeries, trauma patients, and patients with failure. And the good thing with plasma is we can freeze plasma, so that has a shelf life like you. So why you donate? Reason number one. We're going to go through a few reasons why it's important to donate. So the first one is Canadian Blood Services is committed to ensuring a sustainable national transfusion and transplantation system that ensures the safety and sufficiency of Canada's blood and plasma supply.
Who speaks Wolof? Who here listens to country music? Who here has ever been camping? Oh wow! And now, who here has ever donated blood? My name is Elanit. I'm 18 years old, and all of you here have saved my life. I was born with sickle cell anemia, and every year I need blood 130 people from my community to continue to live. To each and every one of you, thank you.
Thank you. So as you can see in this video, it actually takes
Making great tires matters. What really matters is making a difference.
very often. So as you can see from that video, it actually takes 130 people, people who share secondary background with someone with sickle cell disease to donate blood for one person to survive every year. And I just want to quickly show us another reason why we should donate. And this is, I want to quickly share this story. So this story here is about two former, this is one of the people that Canadian Blood Services had supported way back. And Fukuma had sickle cell disease. She knew that her maternal aunt in Nigeria had passed away from sickle cell disease at a young age. And when she was 17, the doctor then presented her with the option to have a stem cell transplant. Fukuma has two younger siblings, and her younger sister, who was 11 years old at that time, was a 100% match for the stem cell transplant. And so the sister became a stem cell donor. And thanks to the sister, Fukuma has a stem cell transplant, and today she's thriving. So now Fukuma can live her life, just like every one of us. One of the things that she shared is that she's able to go to the gym, she's able to do the things that people do every day without feeling the pain that has been associated with sickle cell disease that she has had to live with. And then the third reason why we should donate, this is also because it's a compassionate thing to do. So when we think about the country that many of us now call home, I can say for sure that living here in the last 13 years, I now know a group of people that have been as compassionate as Canadians are when it comes to giving in terms of resources, in terms of like donations. People literally show up all the time. When you go to the donor center, it's never empty. You're seeing people there coming in. People sometimes I went in one time to the site in Edmonton, and before the doors opened at 9 o'clock, there were literally people lining up outside waiting to donate. That's how compassionate Canadians are when it comes to giving. So I want to share the video of Odise. So this is someone I know personally. We go to the same church in Edmonton. I've known him now ever since 2014, and I just quickly want to share a story about his donation with all of you.
My name is Oise Sunma. I'm a second-year university student taking psychology at the University of Victoria. My younger sister had open heart surgery about 5 or 6 years ago, and at that time, although I was young, I understood the severity of the matter. And as I got older, I started to understand that if she wasn't getting the right blood in that moment, it would have been catastrophic. So in that moment, I felt like as well, I would not give blood to anyone, and that could have been my sister, or could be someone else's sister. I was 17 at the time, and I expected it to be way more painful, way more dramatic, but it really wasn't. I walked in very nervous because I'm very anxious when it comes to needles, but as soon as I walked in, the nurses were very welcoming and like even like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you so tall? Are you gonna need us? So kind of like it's a joke about it and like brush it off. But they were very welcoming. Me donating blood and kind of like, oh, advocate more. Like this is really good for the community. In Nigeria, it's kind of like any like fluids or like anything like liquid fluid. It's not really something you talk about much or like bring up. It's kind of like there's a lot of myths because you kind of grow up with the idea like if anyone asks for anything other than coping for me, previous to my first donation, I was kind of like also scared, also with the scared of the needles, like the idea of like my blood could be used for something bad was also like a daunting thing. But after like literally seeing my blood in a bag and like explaining the entire process, it was kind of like okay, that makes sense. Me and my mom had the same blood type, so we're both the one negative. And I always said, as soon as I gave the blood, I was like, okay, you have to go. Like, we have this blood for a reason. And she's always scared. She's always like, oh, I don't know what they're doing. It's like I don't know like what happens after. It's kind of like that same like stigma. Like she fears the fact that she can't see what's going on behind the scenes, but with the education and like if she just goes and does it, she can even talk to the people doing it. So in that kind of scenario, it's like kind of my mom's scared, like I was, but I'm the one who's trying to like 180 and she can understand. I wish people knew how easy the process is. It's not a daunting experience. It's not a scary thing to just go in and do it. But I feel like it's kind of daunting because you don't really see it, there's no cameras filming the entire experience, so people don't really know the true experience of it. But if you just go in and ask questions, most of the time nurses I've spoken to are very open to even answering questions. Even if you're not doing it, talk to you about it, they'll tell you like tell you the exact process, tell you everything about it. And even when like they're checking the hemoglobin, they'll explain what they're doing before. I feel like what made me really want to get into blood donation is just thinking about my sister. Like that could have been if she didn't have the right blood, if she didn't have the blood in general, who's to say what would happen to her? But it could be your sister, it could be anyone else's sister, and in that scenario, like you could be saving a life, and just God gave you that kind of blood. I mean, why not use it?
Thank you very much. So as you can see, there's a reason for donating your stuff because this is the story of the Nigerian when it started with us. In the late 2015, so we already heard from her story, and you witnessed how all the donations have started. And so this one is sponsored with so the moment a son turns 3, we have to send donating, and he's one of our regular donors in the community. And so one thing I want to bring to our awareness is that people who identify as African, in particular African Black Caribbean people, we only make up less than 1% of our active whole blood donor base. So as at June 2022, there were 2,443 active whole blood donors who have self-identified as being Black. And just like Kathy had mentioned, the piece around the red blood type and the importance of that marker to consider our blood type for our communities is really, really important. So when the donor base is low, you can see how the impact is going to come our communities that are relying on this donation in order to survive. So Kathy is going to talk to us about stem cells.
We're going to take some time now to talk about stem cells. So we talked about whole blood and blood donations. Another thing that we do as well at Canadian Blood Services is stem cells. So specifically, blood stem cells are immature cells that can develop into any cell present in the bloodstream. Without stem cells, the body cannot make the blood cells needed for the immune system to function. When patients need stem cell transplant, it means that their bone marrow, which we talked about earlier, has failed due to an illness. Patients who undergo chemotherapy or radiation treatments may also need a transplant of healthy stem cells to help heal and reboost their immune system. So stem cell transplants are used for treating over 80 diseases and disorders such as leukemia, lymphoma, sickle cell disease, immune system, just to name a few. And so there's a little bit of misconception about stem cells. We're just going to take a little bit of time to tell you how it works, how we would get your stem cells, and it's a very easy process. So first off, in order to get on the registry, it's very simple. It's just a cheek swab. We literally take a big Q-tip and we swab the insides of your cheeks. You send it back to us, and then we enter it into the registry. We do look for people aged 17 to 35 to swab. It's only in that age group that we do accept the swabs from. And then you go into the registry. If you are a match, at that time you'll get a call, and the question is, would you like to continue? Then at that time you will go get a physical and see the doctor and decide if you are able to actually donate your stem cells. Now, if you are a match, that means that there's somebody that is depending on you to save their life, because this is their last chance of survival. So we do take stem cells in two ways. So we take it, spherical blood stem cells, which is just like a blood donation, just as in any other plasma donation or platelet. The blood comes out through the needle, we spin it, we take your stem cells, and then your blood goes back in. And we do that 80% of the time. 20% of the time is we go through the bone marrow. Um, and that is, and that's through the back, the pelvic bone, your pelvic bone. You will be put under with an anesthesia and you wake up with a sore back for a few days. But again, we only do that in the cases where it's extreme and we need to take it that way.
Thank you. So I wanted to, because I recently just collected so many stories from people from our community that have, outcomes either because positive outcomes either because of donation or negative outcomes because of the lack of donation. And sadly, this is one of such stories. So Miss Rose here, she was a single mom in Toronto that has three children. She was also a healthcare worker, and she got diagnosed with cancer for the second time in 4 years. So she had leukemia, and she literally, had to start, living on blood thinners and spending weeks in treatment. And at some point, Miss Rose needed bone marrow transplant, needed stem cell transplant. And because of the lack of donor diversity, so the people who actually sign up to donate stem cells in our registry, because of the lack of a match for Miss Rose, she sadly passed away on December 18, 2020, leaving behind her three children and her mom. One thing I want to talk to us about is the stem cell registry. So Patty has provided what stem cell is all about, but the registry, the stem cell registry is really important for you to be as diverse as Canada is. When we think about the diversity in Canada, it's beginning to rise because of immigration and veterans. When we look at the stem cell registry that we have right now, 67% of the people in our stem cell registry are white. The remaining 33% are made up of indigenous, Asian, Black, South Asian, Hispanic, and mixed race backgrounds. So less than 1%, same thing with the whole blood donor race, less than 1% of our stem cell registry are made up of people of African descent. So I'm just going to give us the numbers here. So in total, we have 439,906 people in our stem cell registry. Out of these 439,906 people, only 1,810 are Africans. That's way, way less than 1%. And the interesting thing about the stem cell registry and the stem cell match is that you're more likely to find a match within your ethnic background than within your family. So 75% of the time, you're literally relying on a stranger who shares the same ethnic background as yourself. 25% of the time, you can find a match within your family, but 75% of the time, you find a match within your ethnic background. From someone who shares the same ethnicity out here. So like we said here, you have a greater chance to find a match from a complete stranger within your own ethnic community. So it's really important for the donor and patient when it comes to stem cell, just like with blood, it's really, really important for the donor and the patient to absolutely Ezra because Ezra's passing is really, really hurting. He passed away the week of my birthday, and this was last month. So Ezra was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia in 2021. He was really, really young, and his dad had done everything. Of course, many times family members step up, but like I said, it's easier to find a match within your ethnic community than within your family because not every member of the family is always a match. But in this case, his father was a partial match, and the father steps up to donate. But because it was a partial match, Ezra relapsed, and the cancer came back, and you know, lots of spark for Ezra drive on going across Canada. Like I said, the lack of diversity in our donor base, so in our stem cell registry, really, came into play here. So the father has done lots of, swap for Ezra drive across Canada. Sadly, Ezra passed away in September last month. He was only 2 years old. So these are some of the reasons the impact in our community when, many of us don't step up to be part of, initiatives that can save the lives of, people who look like us and identify as us as well.
We're just going to talk now a little bit about stem cells, but just to move into the cord blood side of it. So the blood that's left in the umbilical cord and placenta after baby is born is rich with life-saving blood cells. So Canadian Blood Services cord blood bank collects and stores this cord blood for future use by anyone in need of a stem cell transplant. Collection happens after the safe delivery of the baby and placenta, so it does not interfere with the process of labor or birth, but it lets the mother opt to preserve cord blood for patients or research. It's normally discarded as medical waste. So like stem cells found in bone marrow or circulating blood, those found in cord blood can also be used to treat more than 80 blood cancers and disorders. The stem cells from cord blood have several unique advantages over those collected from bone marrow and circulating blood. They are collected in advance, stored, and ready for use immediately. So that is a big difference with cord blood. That means the shorter wait time for those people who really need that stem cell transplant. We already have it on hand, it's healthy cells, and they're ready to go.
So, like I said, I'm going to pull up all the stories for August. So this is in King, and in King is in Toronto area with her mom, and she also works in the healthcare industry. So in King did sign up, to be a cord blood donor. So she literally donated her baby's umbilical cord blood. Of course, that's one of the places we could also get stem cells from. And like she said, she was driven by her desire to pay it forward. And this is because she understands the need for stem cells from donors of mixed ethnic background. And when you think about the more genetically diverse someone's background is, the more difficult it can be for them to find a matching stem cell donor. So just like Kathy, I did not sign to be a whole blood donor. I signed to be a plasma donor. But I've been anemic for some time now, so I'm being depressed to make sure I'm taking my iron pills, and then when I do that, I can begin to donate. But I remember when I was pregnant with my son, one of the things I was asking about was if I would like to donate, the cord blood, and I signed up for it. So I ended up giving birth in a smaller hospital, and I don't think that happened because they couldn't use that in a smaller hospital. But those are one of the questions, one of the things that many of us who are pregnant can talk to our physician about to know if the hospital was going to give that baby with the cord blood, or they can donate the cord blood for that purpose.
Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about eligibility. So for each program, whether it's blood, platelet, plasma, donors must be at minimum at 17 years. And they have to have over 10 pounds. When you're in that 17 to 21 age group, you need to be 110 pounds. Now, one thing, there is no maximum age, so if you see that that's around 27 now, as long as you're healthy, you can donate. Stem cells between the age of 17 and 35, and you need to be in good health. And just if anyone is interested to see if they are eligible, we do have a website. It's blood.ca, and it's right here. So you can go on, and there's a lot of stuff. There's blood for life, plasma, stem cells, organs, and tissues. And you can see there's an am I eligible? You can click on it. You can see down, there's the little red chat box on the right-hand side. You can click there and ask any questions. There's a registered nurse there who can answer those questions. Or you can call 1-888 to donate. And we always have a registered nurse that can answer any questions if you're not sure. So now I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss deferrals that directly impact our community, and that's malaria. So donors who have traveled to malaria risk areas in the last 12 months must wait 1 year after returning to Canada. And if you've had malaria, regardless of your ethnic background or race, you will be unable to donate blood or platelets. But you are still able to donate plasma, stem cells, and organs and tissues. So we won't focus too much on what you can't. We will continue to talk about what you can donate. So malaria questions that we get a lot is, why is there a deferral for malaria? So the parasite that causes malaria can lie dormant in red blood cells long after someone has recovered from the disease. So this means that no matter how much time has passed, there remains a small but significant risk that they may still carry the malaria parasite in their red blood cells and platelets. For this reason, people who have malaria are not eligible to donate at this time. There is a way to join Canada's Lifeline and make a difference for patients. For example, people who have had malaria in the past can donate plasma 6 months after you recover. And this is because the process we use to manufacture medicines for plasma, it's fractionation of the plasma, and that eliminates the parasite that causes malaria. And it's the only way. So the blood and the platelets is fresh. We can fractionate the plasma and make it into medicine that is life-saving for many people. So why can't we test for malaria? And that's a good question. And unfortunately, right now, there's not suitable approved tests in Canada to screen blood donors for malaria. In the absence of an available test, we rely on thorough donor screening and health assessments to protect the blood system. So right now, if you've had malaria, you're unable to donate. But that doesn't mean that we won't get more advanced, because we're always changing, we're always advancing in our technology. That doesn't mean that down the road you won't be able to, and we're hoping that someday anyone can as well. So keep that in mind. We're constantly changing, and one of the things that we're always trying to do is to make sure the blood products that we collect help the patients that need it. So there's a lot of times that people may get deferred because we need to protect the patients, and there's other times you may get deferred if you have low iron, for example, and that's to protect you. So ask those questions if you do go in and donate for plasma or platelets or whole blood, and you get deferred, ask the questions why and what you can do to maybe donate again in the past. For example, if your iron is low, you may not be able to donate now, but eating rich iron foods or iron supplements, you can try again in 3 months. I myself, for example, I used to travel a lot prior to COVID, and I was constantly deferred because I was in those malaria risk areas, but I've been able to donate since COVID. So I wasn't traveling anywhere. So again, the uses for blood. Keep in mind, don't get discouraged if you can't donate whole blood. We have so much more that we need than whole blood. Plasma is very important, and we need a lot of plasma. So stem cells, as we talked about in much detail, and how stem cell transplants save lives, and how important they are. We have together, so there are many ways to join Canada's Lifeline and make all the difference. So if you never donated before, please book an appointment. We do need donors. Whole blood, plasma, platelet donations are critical for saving lives. Donors can also join, as I said, our stem cell registry, or register their intent to be an organ or tissue donor. There is an entire community of patients across the country in need of stem cells and organs and tissue transplants. There's so many people looking for a stem cell transplant, and so many people do not find their match. 1,000 people in Canada are waiting for an unrelated stem cell donor, and 4,000 people in Canada are waiting for an organ transplant. You can also make a financial contribution if you would like. And another really good way to join Canada's Lifeline is to sign up to be a volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers in our clinics to help out. And we're going to end today with a video that, anyone who joins Canada's Lifeline, you really do make all the difference. Whether you are an employee, a donor, a volunteer, together we make a difference.
When you give a Health Canadian Blood Services, your donation could go on to captivate and fuel the future. Because when you give Canadian Blood Services, you don't just rinse. You'll difference. Canada's Lifeline today at blood.ca. When you give a part of yourself through services, your donation can go on to captivate a country, fuel the future, be the best dad, or support cultures to thrive. Because when you donate through Canadian Blood Services, you don't just make a difference, you make all the difference. Join Canada.ca.
Thank you very much for having Kathy, myself, and Juanita here today. So, does anyone have any questions, whether here or virtually? We'll be happy to take whatever questions you might have. Yes,
know
please.
Someone that has one question, so you can ask me about it.
Okay.
So, I'd like to ask, can we ask the question?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Hello, thank you so much for the presentation. I do commend Canada Blood Services for the promotion you're doing, the campaign you're doing currently, and the drive to make this more diverse is very important. But I do have a concern that I would like to share. I came in 2017, and by 2018, the firm that I work in, they do a blood drive. So I was very eager to donate blood. And when I was getting there, I was told I couldn't donate blood because I've had malaria before. And I explained that I've been a donor, I've donated in the UK, Nigeria, and everything. And they said it's the policy, there's nothing they can do. They can't introduce our blood into the system. And I didn't agree with it. So I know that in the UK, if you've had malaria before, and in the US as well, if it's 3 years since you've had malaria, and you have not had any symptoms and you have not traveled to a malaria-prone country, you are eligible to donate. So my concern is, knowing that Canada right now is growing, we have such a diverse community, we have over 200,000 immigrants all over in different provinces. In Nova Scotia, we have over 3,000. What are you doing in terms of advocating for a change, whether if you are bound by legislation or regulation? There has to be, because there are definitely a lot of people within those communities that will need blood. And I can tell you that majority of them have had malaria. It's so common in Africa, in so many other continents outside of North America. So there is a large section of people who are not able to donate. And there also is a large section of people who will need that blood. So is there a possibility, for just the way you've talked about stem cells, that you're actually looking out for people who share the same, have the same ethnicity, because they have so many things in common. Can that be applied to blood as well? Because there will be so many people in the hospitals that need blood, and that could actually benefit from this blood that is not being accepted. And secondly, is it possible as well, and for more training and advocating to all the centers, so when people do come in, pending the time there are changes in your regulation and there is a possibility for us to actually donate blood, but actually to educate people when they come in that you can actually donate stem cells, you can actually join. I wasn't even aware of all this. And every time the blood drive comes up, I'm like, oh, I can't even give blood and I want to. So if we can tell people who are coming in, who can't donate blood, that these are all the other possibilities, maybe that would also keep them encouraged, to keep coming back to volunteer, to give their time, to give their plasma, to give other things that they can give until when there's actually a change in the system that allows us to give our blood. Thank you.
Thank you. So the nurse is going to answer your question, your first question from the science part, and then I'll provide some information from the diversity and inclusion part.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you can donate. So I'm interested in hearing, because I'm not sure of the UK and the United States, because we tend to follow suit. So I'm wondering if they are donating plasma, because you can donate plasma here. Do you know if that was the case? Was it in the UK and the United States?
I know definitely if you have not traveled to any malaria-prone area, and if you've not had symptoms or had malaria in the last 3 years, you are eligible to donate. But here is like an absolute bar.
If you've had malaria and you know you've had malaria, yes, but you can still donate plasma.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
but not blood. That's what I'm saying.
Well, plasma is important right now, and I know Kathy mentioned it. Plasma for fractionation, we don't produce nearly enough, and that is the big drive that CBS is building right now. So we need. We're building there are more plasma donor centers in Canada, and we're increasing more because that is where our need is. Because we need plasma for fractionation. Because right now we only produce, I think, something in the vicinity of 17% of our needs. It's a very small percentage. So the fact that right now our criteria will restrict you as far as red blood cells, but the fact that you donate plasma, that is the current trend right now, because it's so useful in complicated medical scenarios, and the plasma, that's where we really, really need it. Again, like criteria, I'm not familiar with the American or the British criteria for red blood cells, but you are correct. If you've had malaria right now, you can't donate red blood cells. And again, and Kathy's, I'm just repeating really what Kathy said, we don't have a good test, automated test for malaria. They diagnose malaria currently in a hospital, like when you actually get sick, and can actually visually see the parasite. So it's like, under a microscope. So for most of our tests, we have like automation where they get, donor testing gets like thousands of samples a day, and it's automated, and it's wonderful. Within 48 hours, they have it done. So, again, I'm not familiar, so that's something that I'm going to look up myself, because we tend to follow suit from, we're held to the Health Canada regulations, but often Health Canada, as more research is done, and we see that, things are done, research is done in the United States, UK, we can use that research at CBS. So that might be something interesting on the horizon.
I would love to speak to you after the event.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to answer from the equity and inclusion parties. That has come up in some of the conversations that have been in around the UK and the US donations when it comes to the malaria criteria. But I think Canada has its own set of guidelines based on the experiences that we have here, the needs, number two, and also the science, so that we have lots of scientists working in Canadian Blood Services, and so we're not just making decisions out of lack of information. There are people who are scientists that work on these things and come up with these recommendations, and we are regulated by Health Canada. One thing I do know for sure is that the conversation is happening. It's not something that nobody's talking about. People are talking about it. However, it also ties into the testing is that we don't have. So maybe the other countries do, but like I said, I'm not very familiar, 100% familiar with their process, but I know it has come up, but we don't have the system to be able to test the blood that we collect here if it contains the malaria parasite or not. Just like Kathy said, when the donations happen, they're thinking of two sides. They're thinking of the patient's safety, the person who is going to receive the blood, and also the donor safety as well. So there are certain things in the guidelines that are more to protect the patient, and then there are certain things in the guidelines that are more to protect the donor. And so because of the science of everything happening, that's where many of these guidelines come in. But like Juanita said, she's going to look into it, and like I said, it's an ongoing conversation. It's not something that we are silent about.
I'll just add. Sorry.
And I'll just add one piece to that too. With whole blood, we do have a shelf life on whole blood. So if you were to donate and waiting for someone that needs your blood, we don't want to waste. So we never want to waste. And when people come in to donate, that blood is given to who it's needed. So sometimes it's a little bit harder to find, those matches with whole blood as it's a little bit easier with plasma because we can keep plasma for a year. So we have to keep that in mind too, because one thing that we do in Canadian Blood Services is we never want to waste a donation.
Thank you. Any other question? Yes, please.
Mine is more of like clarification. When I was watching the video, there was a girl that had stem cell transplant and was able to do everything. So fortunately, I can't donate stem cell anymore. But I would like to know if somebody has stem cell transplant, will that person not have this controversy anymore at all in life? Or will still be collecting like some other blood transfusion, they having the sickness for some time, or is gone forever?
So I can actually answer this one in a personal reason. I had a very close friend of mine who actually had a stem cell transplant. So not only do I help recruit people to the registry, I actually seen a stem cell transplant happen firsthand. So with her, she had lymphoma. So what we do when we actually do the stem cell transplant is you will go into the hospital, the person receiving the transplant, and we're going to kill your immune system. So you're going to get a high dose of chemotherapy to kill everything that's in your system. We're going to take your white blood cells down to 0. So you now don't have an immune system whatsoever. You're going to get transplanted the healthy stem cells, and then you're going to see, it takes about 3 weeks, and then you're going to see your body start to produce these healthy stem cells, and then you have a whole new immune system. So your old immune system, we killed it. It's gone, the unhealthy stuff, and we're going to give you a whole new immune system that starts with those white blood cells. So we take your white blood cells down to 0. They start to reproduce. They start to produce your stem cells. And then you start to see, and it was very interesting because I seen her hit bottom. So once she got down to 0, she was very susceptible to infection. She was in special wing in the hospital. And then 2 weeks later, you start to see her come back to normal in her body. But it took her 6 months to fully get back to healthy and being able to do things, and she's thriving herself. So that's how the stem cell works, but we need the match in order to do that. And what we want to do is to avoid that host versus graft. So you don't want your body to start rejecting that stem cell because we've killed your immune system. We need that one to start reproducing, and it now becomes yours. So interesting too, a little interesting point, I've met a lot of people over my time who had stem cell transplants, and it changed their blood type. So one person was an A positive blood type, and now they're an O positive. So they have a whole new blood system and a whole new immune system, and they're thriving. But we need to find those matches. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. I just remembered that she had a 2-part question, and the second part question that you had was if we could do this information session across Canada. We have ongoing, we have
for staff as well at the blood services locations, because I wasn't told I could give other things, I could give plasma and all these things.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I haven't been donating for the last 3 years.
We can
Yes.
do that.
Yes, so that's not a problem. That one we can do, and it's something that has already started to, let our donor-facing employees know that if someone doesn't meet the criteria, you can give them other options of what they can donate. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, please? Do you have any questions virtually? If you want to check.
Doctor, do you have any question online? Anybody ask a question online? No question online.
Okay. So thank you so much for having us, and if you need any information, you can go to blood.ca and you can find all the information there that you need. Thank you.
Please, can we just, what we're looking for is a continuous partnership. We're excited to be able to have one of these videos play during the night on October the 9th. I think there's a video that we're supposed to play.
Yeah, I will give you
Okay, cool.
two videos.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. The media team is looking forward to that. So one of the videos we played tonight is a massive night, so it's a good opportunity to meet the real community in this hall. So we're looking forward to that. We want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for coming. I don't know. We're glad that you're here, and we hope that you enjoy our aspect, especially you that you came in all the way. So we hope to be able to catch up with you and take some pictures. I'm sure they'll probably want to grant some interviews from you. We want to be part of driving this because for our community, there's always this taboo about blood donation. So we're trying our best to see how can we reduce that wall and to be able to see how we can come into play part. And we're excited about that. Thank you so much. Please give one round of applause again.
Thank you for having us. There will be around if anyone has any questions that they want to ask without an audience. So we'll be just over in the corner. And we do have some swag if anyone wants them. And we have some pamphlets on donating blood and plasma if anyone is also interested.
Thank you
very much. We also offer an opportunity tonight. We have a doctor in the house too. We also have a nurse to be able to help us check. For many of us, like I said, living healthy is very important. It has to become a top priority. We want our checkups to be regular, to be constant, and to be continual. That means you do not check once in 10 years. It has to be every time, not when you are sick. So tonight we have one of the doctors in the house. Is a great friend. Is a member of this community. Is an amazing brother. You know, I just love him for back to as I say, back to the bone and all that. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Alex as he comes briefly to talk with us. Then we're going to be going to the back in twos to be able to do our checkup, because that's also important tonight, and I know some of us are looking forward to that. Please, can we put your hands together as we invite Dr. Alex and talk to us briefly too.
Okay. Connected.
And you become starting the way to use this last time. When it comes solid, just in place.
Okay, cool.
Let's just leave it.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, the Canadian Blood Services, for such a wonderful presentation. Today, I just want to give us a very brief talk about healthy living. It's going to be more like an interactive session. The first question I want to ask, when we look at this picture, what do we see? We can see a bottle of whiskey, cigarettes, donuts, hamburger, and a chair. Which of these do you guys think is the most dangerous? Tell me.
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes, thank you. What else? Anybody else? The most dangerous, yes. In terms of living healthy, which of these do you think is the most dangerous? Yes. Sorry? Did you say the burger? The burger, yes, thank you. Yes, anybody else? Yes. Donuts, yes, yes. You think it's, yes, got the most sugar. Anybody else? Huh?
The alcohol.
The alcohol, thank you very much. Yes, the alcohol is actually is very dangerous. But guess what, guys? Those are all wrong answers.
It's a chair.
It's the chair. Take all this away. Take all this away. All these are very dangerous to our health. However, the chair is the most dangerous. Why is the chair most dangerous? You're all sitting on chairs, so you guys are in trouble. But that's not the case, right? The chair here represents inactivity, being a couch potato. And being a couch potato, what does it do to you? It makes you what? Round. Okay, and then we talk about our BMI, we talk about body mass index. What's the body mass index? Body mass index basically talks about what your height and their weight is, and how it fits into living healthy. Now, if you look at certain people are overweight or obese for certain reasons, either because it's hereditary or because they are not exercising enough, they are always sitting on the chair. Cigarettes, alcohol, all this junk food, they all make us feel, it makes our health go down. And today what we want to talk about, the dangers of inactivity. Who can give me a fair idea of how often we should exercise in a week? Now, how often does anybody exercise in a week here? Some people are gym lovers, they are gym addicts, I know that. But averagely, sorry, how often does 5 times a week, yes?
30 minutes a day.
Yes.
Yeah, and at least 5 times a week.
Bless you, thank you, that's the right answer. 30 minutes a day and 5 times a week. I get patients that say to me, oh doctor, I've been exercising and I'm not losing weight. Exercise has to be something that makes your heart beat faster, that makes you sweat. So if you walk 5 kilometers every day at a snail pace, yes, it's some kind of activity, but it is not enough. If you walk, you have to be from moderate to intense activity. That will make your heart beat move from the baseline to as high as 140. Some of you have many of these wristwatches that tells you your heart rate when you're exercising. So your heart rate has to go up to show that you are actually exercising. By the time you're done, you should be sweating. I want us to look at some of the side effects of having a raised BMI, being overweight. I'm going to start from the head. First of all, people that are often overweight or fat, they feel depressed. They feel very sad about their weight. People that it concerns. Back home, you don't chop up, when you're big. But ideally, in our community where we are today, you see many people running, especially during the summer. People are running. They are doing a lot of physical activity because they want to keep slim. Depression is a big problem with being overweight. Most importantly, stroke is a very common problem for being overweight. It's one of the complications of being overweight. You can have a stroke. There's also the problem of dementia. Dementia is a big thing that is associated with being overweight. I'm going to go down to the heart. You can have heart problems with being overweight. You can also have problems like hypertension. Hypertension is one of the biggest killer in our community. Many people, they've never checked their blood pressure. And today we're going to have the opportunity of checking our blood pressure at the back. Everybody will check their blood pressure. We get in groups of 2 or so. Apart from hypertension, there's also the risk of other heart disease like heart failure and things like that with the heart. When you look at that, there's also the risk of diabetes. Diabetes is highly linked to being overweight or obese. So we really need to be very careful about what we eat and being conscious of physical activity. Apart from diabetes, there's also the problem of fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver. Sometimes we go to the doctors and the doctors will say, oh, your liver enzymes are up. What is the cause of that? They check for gallbladder diseases and things like that. They don't find it. It's because of fatty liver. What happens in fatty liver? All the alcohol, all the junk food we are eating, they're all being deposited all around our bodies and in our liver. So the liver cells are being overtaken by fatty cells. But that can be reversed just by being active. Physical activity, very important. Fatty liver. Also, someone says, oh, I'm always having heartburn. When I go to bed, oh, I'm having heartburn. Being obese also can make you have heartburn. The causes were called GERD. So acid reflux. And people will find that by the time they start losing weight, this gets better. Believe it or not, being overweight is related to sleeping problems. Some people say, oh, I sleep, and when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel refreshed. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is also related to being overweight. So if you lose weight, you sleep better, and the problem of sleep apnea, snoring. Sometimes some partners will kick their spouse out. Go away, you're snoring too much. You know, you can deal with that by watching your weight. Believe it or not, 20% of cancers are caused by being overweight. 20% of cancers are related to being overweight. So it is important for us to look at, what's all this big deal about staying healthy? Why must we be fit? Today we're going to all check our BMIs, and I want us to take that assignment with us today to ask ourselves, am I happy with my BMI? Am I happy with my blood pressure? And if you're not, make a conscious effort to make those changes to prolong our life. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm doing for the nurses. So we start the nurse, I think that's out, but we'll be going in. Oh, yeah, there. I just saw it. I thought you were out. So we're going to be going in twos. I don't know if Margaret will just help me coordinate. I think we can take from one for both sides. So one person will be on the right to that, one person to the left. So let's just take one person from each side so we can have both sides. So let's do that. So in the meantime, it'd be nice if we have songs. Shall we find our songs to play? The network is poor.
your time well. Do better. Money not come from heaven. Do better. Not true word and they tell you so. Hey. China money, use your time.
You are not doing bullshit. That's the regular angle.
Use your time. Do better. Money not come from heaven. Do better. Not true word that they tell you so.
It's very good. Yep. 138. 78. It's perfect. It's very good. So we're gonna check your weight and your height. So we're not breaking through, alright? This is your weight, and this is your height, 1.6 centimeters. So what you're going to do, you're going to come and round up to 1.7. Okay, your weight is 1.6. Alright? So, yeah, weight. And then yellow area. Yes. Alright? So now, what bring you down to this again? Okay? So, that's your height is 1.76, right? So let's take you down. I know. But if you can develop this is the ideal weight, okay? If you can develop your muscles, okay, and work, and if it's all muscles, that's okay. But if it's fat,
for just $67,
muscle has
as many videos as you want.
in your body,
Never to pick up a camera or use
you
any
have
fancy
high
editing software.
cholesterol,
Do you track,
hypertension, and
you
things
drop,
like that.
you tweak some
You
settings,
understand that?
and boom, video done. It'll take you just a few minutes.
Yes,
So
if you
let's use
exercise,
video
then you're
to see what
Keep
it is.
It's
So easy.
high, but we need
And
that
you should grab this software right now.
muscle. It's muscular weight.
Hi, I'm Brad
not
Allen,
fat.
and in this
So
video,
there's a
I'm going to show you
difference
how
between
anyone can
measure
quickly
your
and
body
easily create doodle
mass
videos,
index
just like the
in
one
terms
you're
of
watching
fat.
right now, using
That's
Doodly.
the
Alright, here I
difference.
am inside the Doodly software, which is available for Mac and PC. You'll notice that you can choose the style of your video, selecting from whiteboard, blackboard, greenboard,
And the more pixels are used, you can use a green screen background, giving you complete control over your style. In this example, let's create a nice looking whiteboard doodle video. You'll notice that Doodly makes it super easy to create your own doodle videos.
done for you scenes, hundreds of characters, a huge selection of props. €8 monthly fees forever, go ahead and click or tap on the button next to this video to claim your copy of Dooley today. And we look forward to welcoming you to the Dooley family.
And I mean, that like most, I'm going to be worried because I'm not a person.
No, that's not right. Are you taking prenatal vitamins still? Your blood pressure is high. I'm not very happy about that. Okay? I'm going to do a second. Okay, you say you're 5 months pregnant. This is your second or third pregnancy.
These $60 Japanese smart packages are taking the world by storm. Just apply them before bed and wake up feeling refreshed and clear as you feel on
Why is that a rainbow?
The story behind these patches began when recent medical research uncovered hundreds of new modern-day toxins. Unlike well-known toxins like cigarettes, these microtoxins silently build up in your bloodstream over the course of decades and cause harmful side effects if left untreated, like poor concentration, irritability, skin problems, insomnia, weight gain, and headaches, to name a few. Worse yet, people misdiagnose these symptoms, using prescription pills and experimental treatments that do more harm than good. Doctors refer to this toxic buildup as bioaccumulation. It was first noticed in the 1940s when pesticides slowly contaminated the groundwater and almost killed off the entire bald eagle species over the course of a decade. Doctors believe this same bioaccumulation is impacting humans because of modern-day toxins. This was the inspiration for the Nobu foot patch. It was invented by Dr. Hiroki Hiro at a leading hospital in Tokyo, where he uncovered the unlikely trick to reverse bioaccumulation in humans. Sweat. Our skin sweats to release certain toxins, like alcohol and waste products, to help our bodies naturally detoxify. The problem is, the average person.
I say you say I'm not saying.
Where you did, sir, I don't say.
I've been busy this week. But I said to you before.
I'll tell them to give you a prize.
As I said, oh my God, And I was confused because I thought what would be fast. But it means I keep asking myself, if all of us, sometimes you ask yourself, you know what it is, when you say to yourself, what's the benefit of it? It's easy to walk. All I can feel like is after I